London Uncovered. As we are moving on to a new episode, and we are talking about, is selfless service a myth or reality? By definition, selflessness means the quality of caring more about what the other people need and want, rather than what we ourselves need and want. In other words, selflessness is being less self-centered and selfish by focusing on the well-being of others and without asking for anything in return. And ways we may be of service are service ourselves. To serve others are to take good care of ourselves also. Serve all beings, people that we encounter throughout the day. Serve locally, serve our local community, and serve globally. We do this by educating ourselves and raising a level of awareness as to what is going on in the world today. For in this world of crisis, every single human being from every walk of life is in danger, and each choice we make affects everyone else. Here are some examples of selfless service: donating blood, helping the elderly, giving your meal to a poor and hungry, sharing your knowledge, time, talent, and treasure, offering to babysit or take care of a pet, giving compliments, even to strangers, taking care of a sick person, volunteering, etc. So let's see, what are the importance of selfless service? Research shows that selfless service brings happiness. It can boost our mood and make us feel good. Selfless service gives us purpose. We can observe that the helpers and givers find a meaning and purpose in life. Selfless service benefits our relationship. We start to live when we can live outside ourselves, and that is when we love. And real love is about being selfless, not selfish. Selflessness builds deeper connection. When acting selflessly, we can make ourselves happy, and they express their gratitude by wanting to help us back. As a result, we form deeper connections. And remember, you don't need a reason to help people. And in the words of Bruce Lee, real living is living for others. So let's go and see what people have to say about it. Good morning, Ben.
Good morning, Sanjay.
Tell us, what does selfless service mean to you?
Selfless service means to do things for other people, to serve them, considering their needs first and foremost before your own wants or desires, considering theirs first.
Is selfless service a myth or reality?
I think it's a reality if you can focus on the other person and their needs first.
What message would you give to the world, Ben?
I would say pursue selfless service. Pursue that giving of yourself, of your time, of your energy, and serving other people without consideration of yourself for their benefit.
Ben, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sanjay.
Good morning, Peter.
Morning, Sanjay. Morning, everyone.
Tell us, what does selfless service mean to you?
When I think of selfless service, I think of somebody who does things and doesn't draw attention to themselves when they're doing them. They just do them because it's a good thing to do. So they're not particularly. If you draw attention to them and say, "Hey, isn't Mary wonderful?" or "Isn't John wonderful?" they look a bit surprised, as if you notice them. They're so absorbed in the thing that they want to be doing, which is loving other people, that they're not there doing it saying, "Look at me, I'm so humble, I'm so humble." They're actually surprised when you even notice them.
Is selfless service a myth or reality?
It's a reality, but it's a rare reality. It is very true that if you look in the history of the world, there's almost always a self-promoting motivation that goes along with the kind of less self-promoting motivation. What I find, though, is that it's easy to be cynical and say everyone's really in it for themselves, everyone's really in it for themselves. I think it's more the case that in genuinely selfless service, people are in it because they do actually like other people. It's not just crossing themselves out, it's more that they're very interested in other people. It's that outward focusedness of the whole thing. And that's where I see people being more and more selfless.
What message would you give to the world, Peter?
Selfless service is very, very hard if you try and do it, because then you're thinking about yourself all the time. The way to do selfless service is actually to be caring more about other people and to let their joys and concerns strike on you, and to live with their ups and their downs.
Peter, once again, it's a pleasure. Thank you very much.
God bless.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Tell us, what does selfless service mean to you?
Selfless service means to me, basically in the old days, people worked hard for their job and they respected their job. And when you asked them to do something, they gave you the service, no matter what it was, because they respected their own job. These days, people don't really respect their jobs. They're out to get paid. That's what I think about it.
Is selfless service a myth or reality?
To me, it's slowly becoming a myth because people don't care about what they do and how they serve and what they're trying to get the best out of their job. I talk to my boys and I tell them, I don't care what it is you do, just be the best you can at it and do the best you can. And so far, things have worked out.
What message would you give to the world?
Live in the present. If you're doing work, do the best you can at it. Be the best you can at it. That way, you will get ahead and everybody will be happy and you'll be able to go on to bigger and better things.
Sir, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
Mine.
Good morning, Alan.
Morning, Sanjay.
Tell us, what does selfless service mean to you?
Well, we all carry out selfless service in one way or another every day of our lives without even realising it.
Is it a myth or reality?
No, I don't think it's either really. It's just natural. People who are natural just do it without realising it.
What message would you give to the world, Alan?
I would say, as the song almost has it, let's give selfless service a chance.
Alan, as always, a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Tell us, what does selfless service mean to you?
Selfless service means to me trying not to be selfish in my life and try and help others wherever you can, no matter if it's a little thing, big thing, try and be helpful.
So is selfless service a myth or reality?
I would say myth, but I believe it's a reality.
What message would you give to the world, John?
Try to help others, no matter if you've got an elderly neighbour, see if they need shopping, see if they need someone to talk to. Try and help people. That's what it means to me.
John, as always, a pleasure. Thank you very much.
No problem, Sanjay.
Good morning, Nigel.
Good morning, Sanjay.
Tell us, what does selfless service mean to you?
Selfless service is a good example. Is like in the armed forces, when you help your fellow soldier, fellow colleagues, without thinking about yourself. You're like doing something for someone else with no thought of getting any reward for it or anything like that.
Is selfless service a myth or reality?
Selfless service is definitely a reality.
And why is that?
The reason being is that if you look at like examples of bravery in the armed forces, for instance, it's now the 40th anniversary of the Falklands War, and there were so many of those chaps that went down south to fight that war that gave their lives for their fellow soldiers willingly, and they knew they were taking that risk, and that they were selfless acts.
What message would you give to the world, Nigel?
Look at people like that are going their lives for their country, other people that give their lives for other things, other people that dedicate their lives to good causes. Look at them and get inspiration from them.
Nigel, thank you once again.
Thank you very much.
Good morning, Brett.
Good morning.
Tell us, what does selfless service mean to you?
Selfless service, let's see. It's doing something for other people, using your skills to help people or the community, you know, like volunteering at food banks and giving food away, and not for any monetary gain, just sort of helping everybody by yourself because you want to do it and nobody's forcing you to do so.
Is selfless service a myth or reality?
Well, you know, it's a bit of both really, because you know, how many people want to do things for nothing? I mean, you know, there is a few sort of hardback volunteers that want to do things for nothing, but most people want to do it for monetary gain, and selfless service shouldn't be for monetary gain or anything like that, or any recognition to yourself. It's just helping people. So it's a bit of both really.
What message would you give to the world?
I would say take care, look after yourselves and be good.
Brett, as always, a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good morning, Chris.
Morning.
Tell us, what does selfless service mean to you?
Selfless service, especially in the job I do, is basically like sort of helping people with no sort of benefit that helps me really. especially as a CDM, you have many employees coming up to you and say, can you do this for me, or is it possible if we can do this? So I'll always try to help people as best as I can, but as in sort of selfless acts and stuff like that, I think I do pretty much daily, where it just doesn't, it only benefits the person that I'm helping rather than me. I don't ask for any sort of gratitude or anything back in return for it. Just helping people as best as I can.
So is selfless service a myth or a reality?
No, it's definitely a reality, and we do it without even realising. You know, sort of maybe giving a fella on the street a £5 note, you don't think of anything of it, but that'll help him. God knows what he'll spend it on. But we don't ask for any gratitude or anything back for it. We just think that we're helping people. Especially in tough times as well, you'd be surprised at how much you actually help someone. And again, with no sort of gratification or any sort of benefit to yourself, just helping people. It doesn't hurt.
What message would you give to the world, Chris?
Help people, lend a hand, and just be there for your loved ones.
Chris, thank you once again.
All right, no worries.
Good morning, Marcus.
Morning, Sanjay.
Tell us, what does selfless service mean to you?
It's about doing things that you don't need to do, but to make your colleagues or your family's life a little bit better, you do it. Last week I was in the booking office early on a bank holiday. It was a bit of a state. The cleaners would come round and do it eventually, but they were at the time were very busy, so I just grabbed the hoover and ran it across the floor. It made their life a little bit easier. Yeah, I do lots of stuff for my colleagues. They would do it, but why shouldn't I? I've got a spare minute.
Is selfless service a myth or reality?
It's a reality. You just have to take a little bit of extra time and think about what you're doing.
What message would you give to the world, Marcus?
Be happy, be positive, and be smart.
Marcus, that was brilliant. Thank you very much.
That's all right, Sanjay. Always a pleasure.
Good morning, Tom.
Morning, Sanjay.
Tell us, what does selfless service mean to you?
Selfless service to me, it's putting yourself last and putting other people first. Essentially, being aware that there are other people who need help, and if you can help them, you should help them. And sometimes it's about going above the call of duty. So you could see somebody, a woman with or a man with a pram, and they're struggling to get down a set of stairs, and just helping them to get down those set of stairs, not because you have to, but because you want to, and you can see that they need that help, and you know, and you're not doing anything. So it's, you know, things that you do that are helping other people.
Is selfless service a myth or reality?
In the world that we live in, you know, and I'm guilty of this myself, you know, I'm always on my phone. I'm not always aware of what I'm doing. So there's probably times when I've been doing that I could have helped people. So being selfless is a reality for a lot of people. You know, people are naturally selfless. Some people are naturally selfless, and some people are naturally selfish. And I know people from both sides of that spectrum, and I've known them for a number of years. I know that they're not going to change their outlook. So I would kind of put myself in the middle a little bit. I used to be very selfless, but I think the older I've got, I realised that some people, they can help themselves more, and you have to kind of help them to be independent. You have to help them a little bit less.
What message would you give to the world, Tom?
Yeah, so in terms of this subject, you know, being selfless, it's not a weakness, it's a strength in my book. Some people see it as a weakness. So if that's your natural inclination, then just run with it, you know, because the world needs more people, good people, to help people out who are less fortunate themselves. So, you know, just help people as much as you can.
Tom, as always, you're amazing. Thank you.
Thanks, Sanjay.
As we come to the end of this episode, and we've been talking about, is selfless service a myth? And we have seen that selflessness not equals to self-nothing. Being a selfless person does not imply that you should not take care of yourself to help others in the best way. We need to incorporate self-love and self-care as fundamental virtues in our lives. However, to experience true happiness, we must learn to love without condition, talk without bad intentions, give without any reason, and care for people without any expectations. And here are some tips to practice selflessness. Giving other people full attention, showing others that they deserve happiness and joy, not thinking of yourself to be better, more important, or more valuable than others in any way, and not dwelling on the past and forgiving others and yourself. And in the words of Mother Teresa, give, give, give until it hurts.